Hi, welcome back to Liability Library. I'm Kyle Bailey, and I'm joined with Sophie Blair and Ella Buchan. This is episode 2 of our podcast. If you missed the first episode, it was our introductory podcast with a review of One Dark Window. Feel free to go back and watch that if you missed out. This episode we are talking about Stolen Tongues. So if you read along with us, you will have certain views yourself. We are here to discuss ours.
Yep.
Yes. So
we have some very strong views.
To
and
start
opinions.
off, we should say if you've not read the book and you don't want spoilers, come back once you've read the book.
yeah,
Yes.
we're going to be talking very heavily about the spoilers.
Yes, very heavy.
Yeah. So who wants to start?
Well, I feel like this was your book. You
So I
also
feel like
have
you
the
can start.
strongest opinions on it, so I feel like
That
you
makes
should
sense.
start.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, I suggested this book from the perspective of I'd heard like people talk about it very briefly online.
Had you seen it on like TikTok and stuff?
I saw people talk about it on TikTok and they were saying like how scary it is and like how interesting it is. And I thought because it was like our October read and we were reading for Halloween, it would be a fun suggestion because it's like it deals with, if you haven't read the book, it deals with sort of like this supernatural cabin. Well, we'll read the blurb.
blurb,
That's an
It's a
we
good
do
one.
it every episode.
Yeah.
We'll make it a
Every
long tradition.
One episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it a
It's okay.
tradition. We'll make it a tradition. Okay. Public speaking.
Good luck.
Oh boy. High up on the windswept cliffs of Pale Peak, Faye and Felix celebrate their new engagement. But soon, a chorus of ghastly noises erupts from the nearby woods. The screams of animals, the cries of children, and the mad babble of 100 mournful voices. A dark figure looms near the windows in the dead of night, whispering to Faye. As the weather turns deadly, Felix discovers that his terrified fiancée isn't mumbling in her sleep. She's whispering back. Yeah. Sounds pretty spooky. I read that and I was like, wow, this could be a good October read. Yeah. This is okay, so I picked this book thinking it was going to be super scary.
So,
I was bored to death. It does so much wrong for me. It starts like doing one thing and then it forgets about it for like 10 chapters and then tries to bring it back but not fully. And it overall didn't work for me. The only thing that they did right, which still annoys me, is they managed to subvert my expectations. Because we have a cover here with a very snowy mountain. We'll have it up on screen as well, but a very snowy mountain with a lonesome cabin and a figure lurking in the snow. They're hardly in the cabin. They're barely in the cabin. They're in the cabin for probably less than probably about a quarter of the book's full length.
yeah, I know. It's very misleading.
And that's just, I know it's a cliche being like, oh, like a cabin in the woods, there's something spooky outside. I get that, it's a cliche, but if it's done well and it's done right, it can still be entertaining. It's a cliche for a reason. People use it for a reason.
I think when you think it's going to be something like that, like you have an idea in your head what the books will be like, and then it's nothing
No.
like what you thought, it is then quite disappointing. Like, because I definitely thought a lot of it would take, well, the whole book would take place
Yeah.
in the cabin.
Because they're escaping from the threat at that point, in a sense, because they're no longer isolated. They've got a community around them. The whole point of the idea of like this isolated cabin is that there is no one that can help. You have to survive yourself. There isn't easy to just call. So they make a great, in the start, they make a great way of making us feel like these people are isolated. Like the snow is so thick and so dense, and the roads are icy, and it's a dangerous like woods to get through. It's a dangerous footpath. It's never clear. And I'm like, wow, these people are trapped here with this thing, the imposter, which Among Us kind of ruined this book for me. But no. I just thought that the characters were pretty two-dimensional, one-dimensional. Like they didn't have a lot going for them. Like the writer Felix Blackwell attempts to give his characters depth by just shoehorning things that he's personally experienced, like the mentions of playing Donkey Kong or I don't know what you guys thought, but like the romantic relationship between him and Faye. This is someone who is like his bride to be. Like they're getting married, and then the shoehorning out of like the nicknames, Monkey Toe, bro. What are you talking about? That's not cute. Oh, I've got orangutan feet. Like what are we talking about? That's so weird. It didn't feel natural at all. It felt like it was like forced romance for me, and it did, like I didn't care about the relationship. I didn't. When like romantic relationships are handled well, and there's like a strain on that relationship due to like a physical or like paranormal threat, you care for them because you want them to survive. You want them to get out of that situation and be happy. I didn't care about either of these characters.
No, I didn't care about any of the characters really. I would say I was quite happy for any of them to die.
Yeah.
I just kept waiting for someone to die. When's the story going to get serious?
Yeah, because the whole thing is like he has been with Faye, his partner, for years. He knows that she talks in her sleep and she like sleepwalks and all this random stuff. And then all that the imposter really does for the majority of the book is whisper and get her to talk in her sleep and walk in her sleep. It's like, you've already dealt with that for years.
I know, but I think he's used. Well, it says in the book he's used to her when she's having dreams. It's usually dreams about her co-workers, so she's like saying, she's speaking back to her co-workers in her dream. So as like normal things she's saying. So I think then when it's the imposter to you, it's like weird things. And like, because he makes her make all the voices and stuff, like he makes her heart talk like a baby.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, there is some cool aspects, but I think
it just didn't work for me. It had cool concepts. I feel like it could have used another draft. I think I don't know. It's like the imposter sits there, and it doesn't feel threatening to me when someone's at the window whispering, and it's like a supernatural thing, so like that's how the fear comes. But then all Felix has to do is sort of like wag his finger and shout at it, and then Felix is like, and he ran away back into the woods. Yeah, just like running away. I'm like, what are we doing?
That could be a cat. Yeah. That could be a deer.
Like, it's not like this malevolent, and we see later in the book that this creature is capable of killing.
Yes.
And like very brutally. So like we'll touch on it in a second about the certain representations or misrepresentations as it is. But Tiwei, who's in the book, who doesn't get given a lot to do, and has somehow
the best character.
Is the best character. He dies in a very brutal way, showing that this creature can kill when necessary. And I'm just like, well, why is like Felix slightly raising his voice scaring it so much? You know?
Yeah.
And I understand like, oh, but maybe Felix can be a tool to like get through to Faye. You know? Like maybe that's but like if he's being more of a hindrance to you, if he's actively stopping your plans, then why keep him alive? I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Very true.
I do think I had a lot of expectations going into this book because I don't know if it's absolutely said, I think I read a blurb online saying it was, but I know it is at least based on the Appalachian Mountains. And I love seeing things like on TikTok about the Appalachian Mountains and reading into that sort of thing. So I had really high expectations of going into this book and it being, you know, really scary and stuff, and quite relate to that. And it does relate in a way of like, oh, they try to draw you out into the forest, which is what happens in the Appalachian Mountains. You know, people scream, they make voices, skinwalkers. They try and take you into the forest to get you away. But then there was just lots of other things that went on that were incomplete and almost as if, do you know what it felt like? It felt like reading a short story that wasn't a short story, that just was incomplete. Like, because there were so many aspects of the book that if he decided to complete them and went down that way, would have made the book really interesting and it would have made the book scarier and cooler. But then he just decided not to. Yeah. And he decided to just go completely other ways that weren't as interesting. And then it then left you with questions wondering, well, what happened to this? What happened to the basement? That he had a dream, a whole chapter about him dreaming about a basement. And then it was mentioned once again, and then that was it. There was nothing mentioned about actually going into the basement and finding what was down there nowadays, because he had a dream about it.
It's built up so much
Then,
throughout the book. Like,
I think there's a lot of things that are objects specifically get built up, and then you're like, I'm going to wait a minute to give you a dramatic suspense, and you're like, okay, well, I don't care anymore.
yeah.
It was like with the dream capture. It's in one of the first couple of chapters. They talk about this dream catcher that they see in the woods, and he touches it, and then he thinks that's the whole reason why this thing is attached to him. And then it's kind of dropped for ages, and then it picks back up because they find another one with Faye's hair in it. And then it's dropped again. But then it's brought back up because he's like, oh, well, she's lost a ring, and they go back in the forest and find the ring, maybe she dropped it. And then it's found in a dream catcher, and you're just like, it doesn't stay consistent throughout the whole book. So then when it's mentioned, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then again, at the end, it's an incomplete issue.
Yeah.
They don't ever figure out where it came from, who was actually making them, or how it was connected to like this imposter person. So it was then like we could have went down that route, and if you stuck with the dream capture because it's mentioned so many times, and you found out a way, because it could have been easily explained because like a dream catcher is to capture your dreams, like bad dreams that is how he talked to her. That's how he got into her dreams. But it was never really confirmed.
Yeah.
It was never, nothing was ever said that that's what happened. So it's just like, oh, there's a dream catcher. Oh, I touched it. That could be why he's following us. But then you find out that actually that's got nothing to do with why he's following us, because she's been having this guy follow her since she was like 5. So it really does not matter.
I think it's probably a good time to say that Felix Blackwell, the author, is a white man, and he uses sort of native imagery throughout the book as sort of like these one-off horror motifs that don't feel genuine. I feel like when you write about specific cultures, especially in horror, because the point in horror is you're showing the horrific side of something. It's meant to horrify the reader. So if you're talking about culture, you need to be very careful with how you do it, because it's a very delicate subject. People's culture is very, I know,
especially if it's not your own culture.
Like I know like Scottish people are very like patriotic when it comes to Scottish culture, and like when like an English person would maybe like mock that's a big deal. I mean, native culture is so important to so many people, and Felix Blackwell not only has native characters in this story that are not well written, not given a lot to do. He uses the imagery of the dream catcher to almost elicit a reaction from the reader, but then doesn't know enough about the culture behind it to then tie it into the plot as a more complete narrative piece. It felt for me that he thought of the dream catcher idea, he put it into the story at the very early stages of development, and then didn't know how to write about a dream catcher. So he was just like, I mean, at the end of the book, he literally says, I guess we'll never know who was leaving these dream catchers.
And I think for a writer, that is almost as bad as saying, and it was all a dream. Like, do you know what I mean? It is going to the end of a book, especially like not even a short story, like this is like a 300 odd page book. This is a full book. And to get to the end of the book and go, oh, I guess we'll never know. Like, come on.
That's the thing. We kind of have a sense like the clues are there. T-Way, who although he is like the native insert character with his son Nathan, explains that he isn't too familiar with like certain aspects of the culture that sort of like died out of the community as the generations have continued. But then they were almost making it seem like could it be T-Way putting it there to protect him? Could it be the creature there as like almost like a way to link him and Faye? And then when he goes to get Faye's ring, he finds it in the middle of the dream catcher. So what do you mean you don't know who's leaving it? You believe that the creature's using the ring to connect to Faye, and all of a sudden there's a dream catcher with Faye's ring in it. What do you mean, like, is it the creature making these? Is this how it connects?
And then again, that's not even confirmed because he gets the ring back and it doesn't break any sort of connection.
It doesn't do anything.
So you get this big like chunk of the book being like, oh, we need to find this ring. This ring is definitely what's connected. He phones, I think is it T-Way phones? And he's like, oh, she's lost her ring. And he's like, yeah, that could be the connection. you know, there's a
I
big
think
deal
it
made
was.
about
It's
being
either
the
Tiva or
connecting
Angela,
thing, and then he finds it and he takes it home and it doesn't do
Doesn't
anything.
do anything. Doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And I think it wards it off for like a little while, but it still comes back to something like, it didn't really do much.
Yeah.
I give you a summer holiday, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I give you a reading week.
Yeah, but I definitely think the whole diving into other people's cultures when it's not a part of your culture. I get what he was trying to do, and I get some people do it, but they do it well. As a lot of people don't have the accessibility to learn about this sort of stuff. They also, in the other opposite way, they don't have that accessibility to be able to show other people this sort of stuff of their culture and how it works and what they believe in, especially with all the prejudice that goes on in the world
Definitely.
currently. So I think trying to use your platform to show and represent other people's cultures is a thing that people should be doing, but they need to do their research. They need to understand what they're saying and fully grasp and use what they can, use the resources of talking to people that are from the culture, getting them involved in the writing aspect of the book.
Definitely.
Because if you want to involve that, you need to know you know nothing about that. And it was very clear a good part way through the book that he knew nothing, because the characters who were from this culture didn't know anything.
Yeah,
they were like, oh, I don't know, because like you said, like, or it's died within our community, so no one really talks about it. But I was like, if you genuinely wanted to use this in your book to make it all make sense and to draw everything together and use their stories in your book, then you need to research it and be able to use that and then explain it away and then help with the story. But they didn't, and they did no research. And then it shows, and then it means that the book is so confusing. Things are left unspoken, things are left unfinished, and it's quite disappointing.
You didn't need it. You didn't need the introduction of the native culture. You could have just simply made it, they stay in a cabin, a paranormal entity is within that cabin, it latches onto Fae, and then they travel. Because in the book, early on, like within the first third, they go to a different state and move back home. They get a flight to a different, so they're no longer in the surrounding area of all of this rich native culture. They've left. They've evaded it. But then the creatures followed them through different states to get back to Fae. And there's a sequence in this that really, like, it just frustrates me, but I think it perfectly sort of encapsulates Felix Blackwell's approach to writing about the native people. When Tiwi passes away, not only he is at the cabin. He has gone back to the cabin, Felix. He has left Faye behind, which is insane.
Yeah,
I think that's such a crazy choice to leave Faye behind. He goes back to the cabin, and well, first of all, Felix makes such stupid decisions. The park ranger meets him there to be like, "Are you sure you want to stay here tonight? There's tons of motels at the bottom of this mountain. Feel free to stay there, and you can come back in the morning." And he goes, "Oh, do you think I'm in danger?" And the camp ranger goes, Yeah, you're in danger. There's a creature. You know it. You're part. That's why you didn't bring Faye here. That's why you didn't bring Faye
here. And they
here.
also know for a fact someone, whether or not they think it's a possible, but someone is breaking into that cabin.
Yeah, the police report literally says, "Oh, we had evidence of like forced entry."
Yeah, and then there's
like
stuff
someone
that's
came in
like
through the bedroom.
There's like a lampshade missing or something.
Yeah,
like
some weird
that
stuff
was
like
there
that.
when we were last. Like there's things that are missing that shouldn't be missing. So it's clear evidence someone's breaking in. You decide to go back and go alone.
Yeah, he goes alone, and then but he's under the impression that Tiva is going to meet him there. But he's like, "No, Tiva is not coming. You should probably stay in a motel or something at the bottom of the mountain." He's like, "No, I'll just stay. It's fine." And he's like, "Your funeral. Here's a satellite phone. Ring me if anything weird happens." His first night there, not only does he have the weird noises happening around the cabin, he has a face-to-face encounter with this creature where they share dialogue, they interact. He's then freaking out, barricading himself in this cabin.
Is he not also being sick?
Yeah, he's been sick. He's got a gun in his hand. He's got Faye's dad's gun that he's found, and he's like freaking out. Does he make a call to be like, "Yeah, you were right. You were totally right. Come, please help me." But no. Then he wakes up in the snow, and T-Way drags him in, saving his life. And then Tiwi, instead of being like, this is a dangerous location, I'll probably just stay here so we're both safe in the cabin. We've got the security of numbers, we've got the security of like keeping each other sane. I'll wait till the snow dies down in the morning. He just walks home. He's like, I'm going to go for a stroll in these woods. And then he dies. Then he dies, he gets torn apart. The creature wears his skin and his teeth and it's just horrific. But then Felix has a phone call with Nathan, Tiwi's son. And he's like, oh, your father saved my life. I can't thank him enough. I'm so sorry for your loss. And Nathan goes, pay it forward. You know, my dad saved your life, pay it forward. That's how you can honour him. And instead, he makes a big donation to the reservation. He doesn't pay it forward. He quite literally pays it forward, contactless, tap your card. Insane to me. But then, during the same conversation, Nathan says, there's something about that cabin calling to me. There's something there. I think I'm going to check out this cabin. And Felix goes, yeah, maybe don't go there because the creature's there. Your dad died there. That's what it wants. And instead of, you know, going back to the cabin to save Nathan's life, pay it forward, as he's just said in the same scene, he's like,
his decision.
Who cares? He probably won't do it. He'll probably talk
Yeah, but
himself
it's given
out of it.
like that white saviour complex of, oh, I feel so bad, here's some money.
Yeah.
Like
I'm going to throw money at the
that's-
problem until it goes away.
Yeah, some people, like a lot of things, it's not money they want. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me that because then when Nathan does die, by going to the cabin, spoilers, Nathan also dies by going back to the cabin, which is definitely directly Felix's fault because he could have intervened.
Yeah, I feel like he could have done more. Even if Nathan was like, yeah, I'm going to go, I don't care. I would have been phoning around. Like,
Yeah.
the sheriff being like, oh my
take a group
god,
of
like,
people.
yeah, he's going up there, please,
It was
like,
crazy.
don't let
Send
him
an
go up there.
army.
Yeah, make sure he's okay.
It
And
was
yeah.
so crazy to me.
The decisions people make in this.
Oh.
book.
It's that kind of thing of if you're scared someone's about to like break into your house, don't just open the door and let them in.
Yeah.
Like it's that weird thing of have some sort of common sense. If you
Yeah.
feel like you're in danger, don't do the obviously stupid thing.
Yeah.
And I think all the characters did. So then I was like, I don't really care if you die because you're a complete idiot. You probably deserve it at this point.
All the characters felt reckless.
Oh my god. And it was, I mean, the relationship dynamic between Faye and Felix. I was going, if I was Faye, I'd have left him.
Yeah.
Like, a lot sooner than this book. This guy is ridiculous. He's very, like, two-dimensional, but also, like, no sort of brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't make any like, good decision to keep
And this
anyone
is the
safe.
guy who's going, like, oh yeah, like, I have a PhD, I'm, like, about to get my PhD and everything like that. I'm like, alright, well, you should have a good research skill then.
Yeah.
If you're home, you can go search the library for the heritage and knowledge of all these kind of different stories and things like that, because they do exist, like they exist in real life, so they're going to exist in this fake world.
Exactly.
And it's such an annoying little detail because like it's so important to talk about different heritages and like different stories, and you embracing somebody else's kind of story and their background. It's what builds communities.
Definitely.
And shows appreciation. But if it's done poorly, then it's quite horrible. It's not nice. It's things like it's then spreading misinformation about something.
Yeah.
Like if we believed all of this and we were like, yeah, we would be so wrong
Exactly.
in really important information about other people's lives.
Culture,
Like
and it was very like, what's the word? Stereotypical.
Oh yeah.
Like even the things that he did say that they did, like, oh, here's some sage, wrap that around your neck and bring that everywhere. Oh, here's some herbal tea, that's gonna fix it. Like there was
This is me with my ginger tea.
no, but I mean, it was like very stereotypical things that being like, oh well, people of not my culture, this is how they must.
He was playing on
react.
every stereotype.
Yeah,
They could,
and rather than just doing some research and
Yeah.
finding some cool and interesting ways to explore other people's cultures and let everyone know. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing for all of us.
Well, that it was like 1A, 1B. That was 1A.
Yeah.
Equally, Faye's parents.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry you hate your daughter. Why'd you
It
hate your daughter
really
so much?
did seemed like that. Didn't
Just
Yeah.
the whole parenting aspect.
Yeah.
I'm surprised any of them lived this long in the world, like in general.
I was cracking up because like they just have lies upon lies, and then when Felix goes to their house the second time to be like, please tell me what's going on, your daughter's life is in danger, and they lie again, he goes to the cabin with this lie in mind, and then he phones them up being like, you have some explaining to do, and then you've got like phased in my head like drunken father smoking cigarette, like, tell him you were pregnant. Tell the boy you were like, what are you talking about? Like, that's important information. Well, at least I thought at the time it was important information. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. The whole Christopher thing.
Mm-hmm.
Faye's
it does,
constantly
but it
drawing the number
doesn't.
5.
It's just
Yeah,
there's no.
it doesn't. I can't lie. I don't know you guys. It just didn't make sense.
It just wasn't necessary. I kind of
Yeah.
went, why is that something that someone's so fixated about, that their traumatized young child doesn't care or remember that she just had a baby brother that was stillborn, and she's so like unfazed about it. Sorry, if anyone did that, I'd go, I think you need therapy.
Yeah, if you have a baby and your child is old enough to, know what that
Process.
is and understand what having a sibling is, and then the baby sadly dies, and then your child's like, who? What baby? I'd be like, whoa.
9
What do you
months
mean, what baby?
pregnant.
Yeah.
and-
Like, and the fact that they didn't
Actually-
care, I would be like, we need to
You'd
take
be
you to
freaking out,
some
yeah.
sort of therapy. And they did, I'm pretty sure they do say yourself, they did take her to the doctors and like, oh yeah, she's just suppressed it.
I was like, that's not
And I
normal.
was like, yeah, but if you suppress something, don't keep it suppressed. Take her to a
Exactly.
therapist that would then unsuppress it and make her deal with it and not cause issues in the future.
Don't worry.
Because this is an issue in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, the decisions that
Those parents.
that family make as well, because even the
Sister.
sister has a newborn baby and she decides, I want to go visit my sister, and Felix tells her everything that's going on, saying she's quite dangerous, she's scary, she's not acting normal, there's something up with her. And and the sister hints that she knows, because she's like, ask my mum, she'll know.
Yeah, she'll
So
tell you
it's-
all about it.
Yeah, so she knows what's going on,
Yeah.
and she knows that there's something weird going on, and she
She's
still
just in
decides
denial.
to take herself and her newborn baby over to their house and stay there. Not even in a hotel, to stay there. And anywhere she stays there, crazy shit starts happening.
Babies in
And
danger.
and basically, when what's her name, Faye is in this kind of catatonic state, she takes the baby
Yeah, literally.
and she takes her out,
Hides in a
takes
tree.
him outside. Yeah, and she hides in a tree. The baby's left outside in the cold on the floor when anything could have happened.
Yeah.
And the sister, quite rightly, freaks out and is like, "Oh my god, you're trying to kill my baby!" But there's other stuff that happens just before that. Like she's banging. There's one point she's banging on the door and she's screaming on the sister's bedroom door to give her the baby, like
The baby
psychotically.
and
Like I would
Becca
be
are freaking
terrified.
out, yeah.
And the sister is terrified. She goes to Felix, "I'm so scared," and she still decides to stay there.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, "Girl, you are
It's
making
not realistic characters.
yeah, you're making the most idiotic decisions, especially as a mother."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously can't speak on everyone's parentage, but as a mother, if someone was screaming and trying to break down a door saying, give me your baby,
Yeah.
I'd be leaving.
Yeah, you'd be out of there.
I'd be out of there.
Out of there straight away.
Yeah.
I would even take them into something that's possible danger. I mean, it was
Yeah.
very clear from the beginning. There's something wrong with your sister. Oh, I'll come.
Yeah.
I'll come
Yeah.
help. And it's something creepy. Why would you take a baby?
Exactly.
Like, no.
Well,
Leave him with the
So,
dad.
I was just gonna say also it just the whole end with this whole Christopher, the fifth baby, that's why she's trying to it just was so confusing, especially when it was like the sister being like, well, ask mum, she knows why this is happening. How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know that her her dead brother, and this is the issue that's caused this thing to fall, like they have
they weren't
no
even on the trip.
idea.
Becca wasn't on the trip.
What-
They were
yeah.
on like a school trip. They
You
didn't
have
like the
no
cabin.
idea what's even the parents. How would you know that
This
this
all
is what
links.
is it all connected?
Well, that's another the mum.
Sorry, it's just frustrating.
Faye's mum, when they're lying in bed, well, initially she phones up saying that she's sending Felix a package, and this is going to explain everything. She's gonna phone up. She's phoned up Felix, and she's gonna send him this package to their address. What's in this package is going to explain everything to him. I'm sorry I've lied so much. I've been protecting this one fact. It'll be in the package. It'll explain everything to you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Package arrives, and for dramatic effect, he doesn't open it straight away. He puts it behind the
It's
TV.
the most
This is
idiotic
important.
thing
I think
know
I
of.
could
Yeah.
open this later when it won't.
The
freak me out
explanation
in the
I've been
middle of
looking
the night.
for probably weeks.
Yeah, this
The explanation that I've had I've been lied to multiple times. I'm not going to open it straight away because of my interests.
yeah, this makes fix my wife, but no,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
gonna
going to
wait.
ignore it.
And then, I'm pretty sure it's the same night, maybe the night after, Faye's mum calls him up and says, I'm at your house. We need to talk. It can't be in front of Faye. Faye can't know this. So she invites herself into the house where Faye is sleeping in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not just talk down the street? Why would you not talk at the front door, shut the door behind you? Have you ever
Jump
done
in
one of
the
those?
car.
Haven't. Or, funnily enough, you've just phoned me. You have quite literally just phoned me.
Stay in the
Tell
room.
me now.
Yeah.
Tell me right now.
That is the thing that also confused me.
Why is she there?
As even Felix, okay, yeah, he was going back to the cabin, but he went back to the parents' house and then to the cabin, and then back from the cabin to the parents' house, and then the mother
She's
comes to her
zigzagging.
house, and I'm like, phones exist.
Yeah.
Why are you spending so much
Yeah.
money travelling to these different states to find out what happened and no one's still... Just fucking phone them.
Well, Faye's mum explains it, she tries to, by saying, "Oh, I need to be the one to show you this, and it's important that I tell you." And she shows up with this photo album. But then I'm like, you've already just spent all that money on FedEx sending the package. Why are you now paying for a flight to show a photo album?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you have just done it in a bundle? Sent one package with both things in it?
No, that's
Because,
too expensive.
funnily enough, what she had initially sent Felix doesn't explain anything.
No.
Imagine realistically, you've got all this paranormal stuff going on, and you get a package that's meant to explain everything, and you open it up and find a bunch of tea leaves. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
You're telling me to calm down? What?
Not sleeping
Get
enough.
some tetley's or something down you.
Yeah.
What's happened? It doesn't make any sense to me. How would Felix be able to put that together without you having to further explain it via phone call? Well, don't worry, she's there now. She's there now to explain it in person.
Do you know what? Something else that really annoyed me, and I don't know why. It was just something about it that really pissed me off. So the whole thing with this scrapbook is Faye's been it's backwards, isn't it? Writing the number 5 on like windows
Yes,
and
you're right,
things and
number
mirrors,
5 backwards.
and it said to show this
Mm-hmm.
imposter
Yeah.
person the number 5. He can't figure out why number 5, and then he starts drawing the number 5, and then they come to the conclusion of, in this scrapbook when she was younger, she wrote the number 5, and it's the exact same 5 as all the. What do you mean it's the exact same 5? Okay, 5s, all 5s
Yeah,
look exactly. There's no other way to write a 5
exactly.
than a 5.
A V.
So weird.
Could
Yeah.
be Roman numeral actually.
But do you know what I mean?
So stupid,
Like,
though.
I could write a 5, and you could write a 5, and then you could write a 5, and like, well,
It means
it's
something.
5.
It's the
A
exact
bunch
same
of 5s
thing.
here.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
oh, it just pissed me off.
Yeah. Oh man. You know, like after reading it and after having some time to think, there is a through line that the author could have used to connect all of these loose points, and it would have made the story a lot better. It would subvert the reader's expectations. It would honestly, it would get rid of all the cheapening of native culture. All you need to do is have it be that. So earlier in the book, when they're first at the cabin, Felix gets up in the night and believes that he sees Faye in the snow during the blizzard standing naked. And he's like, oh my god, my girlfriend's gonna die from hypothermia. She's in the woods. I need to go get her. She's sleepwalking. And as he goes to get her, she runs into the woods. But then the real Faye comes to the door of the cabin and like, why are you in the snow? All the writer needed to do was have it be that when Faye went to the cabin when she was young with her family, Faye was replaced by this creature. So that way, all of this relationship that Felix has with Faye, all of these memories, all of these times, the person that he's engaged to is a lie, is fake. And that's why the creature is taking Faye's memories. It's trying to become Faye. It's needing more sustenance to try and like become this thing. Have it be that Faye's parents knew about this, got in touch with like the native people. If you want to keep that, I don't personally think you need to, but have it be that they find out that they need to take part in some sort of ritual to get their daughter back, of equivalent exchange, a life for a life. That's why the mother becomes pregnant with Christopher, because they were going to offer that baby as a sacrifice to get their daughter that they have a connection and memories with. It's horrific. It's really brutal.
I know, that's what they say.
But something it's a horror book. But Christopher sadly died.
Yeah.
They were going to use their other daughter Becca's baby. That's why there's such a distance in that relationship, and that's why they sent Felix to the cabin. It wasn't a engagement gift. It was to complete the ritual. That makes more sense. And that way, it subverts the reader's expectation, being like, oh, it's a very loose adaptation of native traditions and all of these things. That way, the dream catchers, they could all be put there by Faye's mother or father, with like parts of their daughter's hair, almost trying to lure their daughter back, almost like this way of getting their daughter back.
Yeah.
It would have made so much more sense to me, like from my side, because it also gives it sort of like a twist, like this idea where you weren't expecting. It also gives like Felix conflicted sort of emotions on his involvement on saving the day, because the Fae that he will then be trying to save in other methods is a Fae that has never met him. It's a Fae that has no connection to him. He loves Fae, or he loves the idea of Fae.
Yeah.
But this real Fae has never met him. So it's almost like you can be the hero and save someone's life and save this family and like cut this ritual off. But also you're jeopardizing your own safety for someone that has never met you. And I think that's really interesting. That could have been really cool.
I agree. Or you could take it in a slightly similar but different route. Because it's a skinwalker, you can't tell unless you were to actually like completely see the whole body, like completely naked kind of aspect, that they're wearing someone else's skin. And it's that psychological kind of going, am I talking to the real Sophie, or is this somebody else being like has killed Sophie? And then you either take it on the Felix gets killed and is being worn, and he can actually still see what's happening, and that's the horror of it, that he's there and he's trapped and he's manipulating Faye right there and he can't do anything. Or you have a similar complex to what you have. Faye gets killed and he's going, I can't kill her, that's the woman I love. But she's already dead. It's not her, it's just her face. And you kind of that's quite a horror of, oh my god, like you have to kill the person you love, but it's not them anymore, it's just their face, but you still have to look at them in the eyes, and like it's that you could take it either way, and that's quite actually the terrifying aspect of it, of you're hurting somebody unintentionally.
I also don't even think you need to completely change the story in that aspect. I think they are very good ideas to go down, but just follow through with a fucking idea.
I can't wait for Kyle to have to bleep all this out.
Sorry.
You're the one.
Yeah, but like he had so many ideas like that he could have followed through with and explained, and you know, once he'd followed through and that became like, oh, we fixed it. Like
I really wanted that dream catcher to be expanded on.
Yeah, the dream catcher, the basement thing was really annoying.
Basement was annoying, but then I'm also like, you know what? I'm glad, because if you're scared of the basement or something, you know what not to do? Go into the basement. Like so, in that perspective, you know what? I'm glad that maybe that, because that's if something bad happened, we'd go, oh, for God's sake, like we knew not to go in. Like I'm glad, you know, because we would be shouting if he had, and something bad happened, we would be mad. But it's that dream catcher. That was such a good kind of plot point. It was a really nice start to it, and you could see so much potential, being like, oh, this is what's going to either make or break the story. This is what's either going to make it a good or bad ending. And it's like, oh, never mind. Oh well.
Yeah. I do think also like it shows like a naivety in the writer, which I think is kind of brutal to say. Apologies to Felix Blackwell, but it never feels like any of the characters have been given enough to do.
No.
But then you're getting introduced to new characters towards the final quarter of the book.
Yeah, because is Angela?
Angela is mentioned a couple of times early on, but we don't really. Angela's mentioned a couple of times early on, but we don't really get anything from them. Maybe like one phone call, and then they come into the final quarter to like rid the evil. But then introducing Becca and their child and stuff like that isn't needed, because you're doing that to show that Faye is still getting possessed, and that there's still a link to like them taking this weird approach, all for it to just lead to ask my mum. Felix should be sat there being like, I have 4 times already in the past like 10 chapters. What do you want me to do, bro?
Yeah.
It just felt like it didn't lead anywhere. It's just
if
another horror chapter.
If you'd removed Becca and the baby, everything still would have happened exactly the same. Realistically, the mum would have taken ages to confess stuff, even though it's something actually you could just go and say. Like, there was no need for all the secrecy. Like, mum should have said that ages ago when Becca, like, when Faye got older, she'd have been like, hey, we need to talk. You were weird as a baby.
Yeah.
Because you didn't need the sister at all. Just cut the sister because she wasn't at the cabin to experience anything in the first place. So all you needed to do was, instead of having Becca and a baby show up, have Faye's parents stay over for the holidays. Because they haven't been near Faye, and they're like, oh, Felix isn't exaggerating. This is a serious issue. We need to tell him the truth now.
Because realistically, the only point of having someone else in the cabin is for Faye to hurt them.
Yeah.
And be dangerous. And that's exactly what happened with the baby. But it shouldn't have been them. It should have been the mum and dad, like you said. Or it should have been, it should have been mum and dad. Because then they would confess and be like, let's talk. And in the book would have been about 150 pages.
Yeah. I think something that I initially was quite like, oh, that's quite funny. Quite like, I mean, if I wrote a book, I'd put my own character as my name. Like, because Felix Blackwell is the character name as well as it's the author's name. But the more and more that I got into it, I know you don't know it, but I thought it was quite funny. But the more and more I got into it and reading the story and all the thing with, cultural poaching, and then made it very egotistical. And then made me think, as just given like Saviour.
It is that aspect of
I want to be this way.
If something that happened to you inspired this story, go for it. But it isn't. Like, if you'd got trapped in a cabin and you thought you were seeing things and things like that, that would be quite interesting. And then you put it in the first perspective and you have that confusion and you really do write about your fear, then it becomes like an autobiography. So.
Exactly.
I know, because at one point right at the start, when I realised that it was the same names, I was like, oh. I was like, is this true? Is this something that he has?
This is his biography.
Because some people have out there experienced weird things and experienced paranormal things, and like maybe this is an experience he's experienced, but the more and more you read it, it's just made up. So we will move on. Because
we'll be here all day.
This is 45 minutes already. We could literally spend another 45 minutes talking about this book. So I think we should move on and just give it a rating. A liability and library stamp. So, I'll start. So when I originally first read this book, I enjoyed it because it was a genre that I'd never actually read before. It was completely new to me, so I was very immersed in the story, very immersed in the vibe of horror reading. So I originally rated it 4 stars. But then when I gave myself time to think about it and think about all the different aspects and all the things, I was like, but that never really got explained. And then talking to Ella and Kyle about, the whole stealing other people's culture for your own gain. It really started to annoy me. And I thought, why the hell did I rate that 4 stars? So I have changed it now on Goodreads, but I probably would rate it 2.5. Just because I think the 0.5 comes from the fact that it's a new genre for me. Not the fact that the book is genuinely good.
Okay. Well, we'll just go down a line.
Yeah, can do.
I think for me, immersion is so important. Immersion is so important, especially in the genre of horror, where if you break immersion at any point, the flaws and the cracks in the story and the narrative that you're developing are more visible. I went in with some expectations for this book, and not only did it not meet any of those expectations, because of how boring I found it, the cracks and the flaws showed up more. So there was never a point where I was fully immersed. I cared about the stakes and the character. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Okay.
Because I would never give a book a 0. That's cruel. And
Yeah.
this is like
The fact that he
effort was
did
put to an
DNA
extent.
it's a good contact.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be so.
Yeah.
So, I have had experience in the horror genre only once, and I'm more terrified of demon dentists than I was of stolen tongues. I don't know. Maybe a dentist pulling your one and only parent down a lift shaft is kind of scary. Instead of this random thing
Yeah.
being
It's
a cat at the
creature.
window just running away when you go away. Anyways, I think the most important thing about a book, no matter, it could be the worst story ever, but if you've got relatable, likable, and just good characters with a bulky description of their personality, their beliefs, their kind of, like, you could have a cup of tea with them and you could kind of know exactly how to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
That's when it makes a character, like a book, go from to, you know what, that's pretty good. It's not necessarily what the character's doing in the story, it's their actual personality that people connect to. Yeah. I didn't care about a single character. The one character that I was like, I kind of like you, like, you're an interesting character to have in this story, I want to know more about you, died too early for me to do it, like, actually form a connection to them.
Yeah.
And he also didn't know how to.
And he wasn't
Yeah.
realistically much use in the story,
Yeah.
which is a shame, because that's the whole point of having that character.
Yeah, if he was
to
a
be
real
the
life,
hurtful,
if he was a
useful
real life
person.
character, he would be so much more useful.
He would be the one who actually survives, everyone else would
Yeah.
be dead. So with that, and so many plot holes, I also give up a 1.5.
Okay, that's fine. So overall, the
I'll
median
say
is 2. So Liability Library gives this book 2 stars. Right.
Yay!
Yeah. Wow.
Which hurts Kyle's soul, I can tell.
Yeah. Too high. Too high. Felix Blackwell, I'm coming after you.
Oh, no.
The thing is, I
feel like we do need to specify that. Just because we don't like this book doesn't mean Felix is a bad writer.
we
We just didn't like it. This book wasn't made for us as a
Mm.
consumer. That's okay. Felix, you're safe. We're not going to let Kyle leave you.
Yeah,
Next
we have
episode's
we have
just a diss
slightly.
track from me.
We have tried not to talk obviously too much about this before filming the podcast, but
No.
we have talked slightly about things, and we can appreciate how hard it is as an author to put your work out there,
Yeah.
because it's the same with us as actors. The minute your work's out there, you're judged. You're judged on everything you do, but I still think that doesn't mean that we should fluff things up and be like,
Yeah.
oh well, this was good, and like, I think it's so important
Spirit be
still
honest.
to have opinions, even if they're negative opinions on
Yeah.
something. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all you guys who have read or want to read the book can't like it and can't enjoy it, because that's your opinion and that's your personal preference.
course.
It's just personally for us, it wasn't a book that we would ever, if we knew what we knew now, we would have ever read.
Yeah.
And as actors, we are very harsh critics because we have to be of ourselves and of our peers to all get us to be the best actor that we can be. And in that, we do so much research to be a new human being as a character. So when we see that maybe something's not as well researched as what we have to put effort into, it is kind of that little like bug-bearing thing of, well, if I have to do my craft with so much research, so should everybody else.
You can know the answer to this
Because
very
you
easily,
should know
yeah.
the answer. If you're literally producing a story, you should know why this person's doing this.
It's very true.
Okay,
Right.
well,
There you go.
we will leave Stolen Tongues in the past
Done.
and we will move on.
It's behind us. now.
November
Yes.
read.
So we decided that this month, because this is the month of remembrance, that we should choose something a bit more fitting for the month. So we've gone for kind of a war kind of theme, and we've all put in 2 suggestions each. So I personally suggested All the Light We Cannot See and The Book Thief. Kyle, you suggested.
I suggested The Nightingale and Alone in Berlin.
And I suggested War Horse and the Literacy and Potato Peel Pie Society.
That's a mouthful.
We've also come up with a rule, because Kyle has had 2 months in a row. If any of us get 3 book choices in a row, month-wise, we then cannot make a 4th month suggestion
You're barred.
because we'd like to make sure all of our
Bam.
suggestions are picked at different points, and I want my holiday book to win.
Just get it ready. Kyle, you can spin it this time.
Sure, kind of nervous.
I'm kind of nervous.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yes!
It is Warhorse.
Nice.
My suggestion.
Wow. Which is kind of ironic because it is the first book that I typed in. But it has been tried and error. But yes.
We did
Yes.
test it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Interesting.
How are we all feeling about that?
So excited.
I don't know much about it. I've never sort of consumed enough media about it.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my suggestion because a few weeks ago I saw it Playwise when it did its UK tour, and I cried, and it was amazing. The actors fantastic. We're not a show podcast, but big it up if you get to see Warhorse. Go. The actors were amazing, and they really told the story quite quickly. It's written by Michael Mapargo, who is actually a children's author. So all of his books are actually for children and everything like this. This book's not a big book.
I recognise the name.
Yeah, I recognise the way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I read when I was younger Running Wild, which is based on the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami that happened. So he does a lot of real life events. Which one are you looking at?
There's a Warhorse too, guys.
Oh, we could maybe watch both. Watch both. Read
Warhorse
both.
2.
Would-
War horses.
It's called Farm Boy, which is the second book in obviously what is a series. The good thing about these books is they're really short
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are very short.
because the first one, which we now know there's a first one, is only 165 pages.
He's a children's author, and he writes real like event stories, which I think is really good because it's teaching children historical moments, maybe
Yeah.
putting on a fictional tale, but it's good.
I feel like I've not read, but I definitely recognise some of the books.
Yeah.
I also love war stories in general. Like that's my Roman
I
Empire.
love a good Holocaust book.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
that sounds kind of
Yeah,
bad.
it sounds bad, but I love just
I just love educating
an
yeah,
myself.
interesting
it's
part.
educational.
Creating the empathy, showing the empathy of things that happen to people and acknowledging it happened. There's a lot of people in historical moments now just kind of go, it didn't happen, it's not real.
Yeah.
And then what's happening now is politically. Things are happening again. And it's, well, if you educated yourself and read books, maybe
Yeah.
you would know not to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, there we go.
Yay.
I guess we'll leave
Oh,
it
you'll be
there.
happy with your book being
I'm
chosen.
absolutely
chuffed.
chuffed. I cannot wait to spend an hour
Yes.
talking about war stories in general.
So we hope you enjoyed our review of Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. If you read along with us this month, feel free to put your review in the comments. We'd be interested to hear your opinion. If not, feel free to use this episode as guidance to maybe not read this one.
Or read it. Understand our
Well, yeah,
anger.
get your own opinion. I would never tell someone not to read a book.
Yeah.
That's
I'm someone who's
flashback
very
10 seconds
easily
ago.
entertained. So I was for majority of the book I was actually entertained reading
Yeah.
it, but it's then all the other aspects of what was
Exactly.
wrong with it that impacts that entertainment.
But we hope you enjoyed. Tune in next month for our review on Warhorse.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.